Are the Toronto Maple Leafs on the verge of making a game-changing move? Word is out that the team is eyeing a colossal defenseman who could bring the physicality and presence this roster desperately needs. Fans, it's time to buckle up because the trade deadline is fast approaching and everything is heating up. With names being thrown around, could this be the spark that propels the Leafs deep into the playoffs? Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and give us a like to stay in the loop on all things Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs have made headlines recently, and as a passionate fan, I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervous anticipation. The reports linking the Leafs to the towering defenseman Jamie Oleksiak from the Seattle Kraken are hard to ignore. At 6'7" and 250 pounds, Oleksiak is a physical presence on the ice, and let's be honest, we all know how much the Leafs have struggled with size and grit in their defensive lineup. With the NHL trade deadline just around the corner, the urgency to make strategic moves is palpable. The Leafs are in desperate need of a pivot to strengthen their center depth, but the need for a solid, rugged defenseman has become even clearer in light of Jani Hakanpää's potential absence for the season. The stakes are high, and the pressure is mounting. It's no secret that Nick Robertson could be on the move, with 3 teams from the Western Conference reportedly interested. So, what does all this mean for the Leafs? The fourth period has reported that the Leafs are indeed in the mix for Oleksiak, who has another year remaining on his contract after this season. It's crucial to understand that this is not just a matter of throwing a big body into the lineup. Oleksiak's style of play fits perfectly with what the Leafs need. He's not going to dazzle you with offensive production, let's be real. 4 goals and 13 points this season don't exactly scream star power. However, his physicality speaks volumes, averaging 164 hits and 117 blocked shots per season over his career. He could significantly bolster our defensive zone coverage. But here's where it gets tricky. Oleksiak carries a cap hit of $4.6 million, and if the Leafs are serious about acquiring him, they're going to need to navigate the salary cap intricacies carefully. This could mean retaining salary from Seattle or moving another contract to create the necessary space. It's a chess game, and the moves have to be calculated. Do I think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, adding a player like Oleksiak could provide the defensive stability the Leafs have been craving, especially when the playoffs roll around. We've seen how physical play can dictate the pace of the game in high-stakes situations. On the other hand, is he enough of an upgrade to justify the cost? The Leafs need players who can contribute offensively as well, and I worry about our ability to maintain that balance. The interest from other teams like the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars adds another layer of complexity to this potential deal. Competition for Oleksiak's services could drive up the price or force the Leafs to make a hasty decision. We've seen how crucial it is to get these trades right, especially in a market where every move can be scrutinized by fans and analysts alike. As we dive deeper into this trade talk, it's important to consider the long-term implications. Bringing in Oleksiak could help solidify our defense for not just this season, but the next as well. It could be the missing piece that propels the Leafs past the first round and into a deeper playoff run. But the question remains, is this the right path? The recent news about the NHL salary cap, set to rise significantly over the next few seasons, has sparked quite a buzz among fans, especially for us die-hard supporters of the Toronto Maple Leafs. With projections showing the cap increasing from $88 million this season to an anticipated $95, $5 million by 2025-26, and potentially soaring to $113.5 million by 2027-28, it's almost like a breath of fresh air for a franchise that has never shied away from spending. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, Mitch Marner's contract extension. Marner's current deal averages $10.9 million annually. But with his impending status as a restricted free agent, it's no secret that he's in line for a hefty raise. The question on everyone's mind is whether he'll demand a contract that surpasses that of Austin Matthews, who currently earns $13.25 million a season. I mean, with the way Marner has been lighting up the scoreboard this season, pushing toward 110 points, it's hard to argue against him wanting a slice of the pie that reflects his on-ice performance. Jonas Siegel from the Athletic raises a compelling point. With the salary cap set to rise, Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, could very well push for a percentage of the new cap that rivals or even exceeds Matthews' deal. If Marner were to sign for 14% of the projected cap in 2025-26, that would give him an average annual value of around $37 million, just nudging past Matthews. Now, that's an interesting dilemma for the Leafs management. Luke Fox from Sportsnet highlights the complexity of this situation. Sure, Marner has every right to seek a contract that reflects his worth, but the logistics of making that work within the Leafs' salary structure is another story entirely. The Leafs have a history of loading up on talent, but they also need to consider extensions for other key players like Matthew Knees and John Tavares. It's a balancing act that could leave the front office in a bit of a pickle. As we look ahead, it's clear that the Maple Leafs have the financial flexibility to spend up to the cap. In fact, projections indicate they could have around $8 million in cap space for 2025-26, which could swell to $61.3 million by 2027-28. However, this newfound cap space comes with its own set of challenges. The team must tread carefully to keep its star players happy while also planning for the future. Siegel's observations about the potential impacts of the rising cap on Marner's contract talks are spot on. It's a wild card that could bring a whole new layer of complexity to negotiations. Marner and his camp might even consider a shorter-term deal that positions them for a bigger payday when the cap peaks in a few years. It's a smart move, but it would certainly complicate the general manager Brad Treliving's ability to maintain a balanced roster. Looking back, one has to wonder if the Leafs missed the boat by not locking up Marner sooner. A deal in the $12 million range might have seemed steep a while back, but with the cap's upward trajectory, it suddenly feels like a bargain. Now, if Mikko Rantanen signs with the Hurricanes for something like $14 million per season, it sets a daunting benchmark for Marner. Would he dare to ask for anything less? As a dedicated fan, I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation about what lies ahead. The prospect of watching our talented roster evolve is thrilling, but the stakes have never been higher. Decisions made in the coming months could shape the future of this franchise for years to come. So, I turn to you, fellow Leafs fans. What do you think? Should the team go all in on Marner and lock him up for the long haul, or is it better to take a more cautious approach? Honestly, I'm torn. And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. Let's dive into the debate together, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all things Maple Leafs. Activate that notification bell to make sure you don't miss a single update.